What's going on, guys? So today I already have a project for this Worksharp. All right, so what I want to do is I want to take this beautiful knife. All right, this one is kind of a breakfast knife, and you can see the name on here is don't hate me, Germans, Ziebenische Helwig. This is a knife from Germany, and this was sent by a very good friend. Proud to say is my friend, Archer Bream, and huge German knife collector and user, and this is just a wonderful gift, and Christine and I use this pretty much every single day, and unfortunately it got damaged. All right, so this actual knife is basically, like I say, it's a breakfast knife. It's essentially a butter knife, but in Germany their butter knives or breakfast time knives are very much, similar to this, where you have a blunted tip because you're not really stabbing into anything, but you're doing some cutting, so it has a nice sharp edge, but it's obviously a spatula style knife, okay? A very wide, straight blade for spreading. So, you might be using this to cut some different types of sausages or salami, meats, things like that. You're cutting cheeses, but you're also, spreading butter on toast and different soft cheeses you might be spreading. So it's just a really interesting design, and we do actually use it for breakfast almost every single day. So coming in close, you can see this has a VG10 blade, and unfortunately it got damaged in the sink. All right, so you can see that major chip there. All right, that's a no-go. So I got to do something about that. Now if you look, there are actually other smaller chips along the edges. One right there, one right there, one right after it. So this thing, I mean, it really gets a ton of use, but this chip occurred inside of the sink. Okay, so that wasn't from actually using the knife. It's not like we hit a bone or anything. We don't cut any kind of, meat with bones or anything like that, or anything frozen at all. This was literally just in the sink, and something, I don't know if a fork or spoon or bowl or something happened where it got dropped on there, and that's what actually chipped that blade out. So today we're going to be using the new Worksharp that I just got. All right, this is the MK.2, and I want to use this wheel to regrind this edge. Now, for now, I'm not actually going to sharpen this. What I want to do is I want to take off steel until I meet the very bottom of that chip. Okay, so basically I'm going to turn this into an American style butter knife where it's just going to be basically a spatula. Now, at any point in time in the future, if I want to sharpen it, I might decide to go ahead and sharpen it again. Because like I haven't had, too many carbs in a long time now, like over 2 months. But I do have a little bit of carbs every now and again, but something I love that I haven't had and probably won't have for a very long time is like a bagel. And this is absolutely perfect for a bagel because you take your whole bagel, you take your nice sharp knife, you cut it in half. Once you cut it in half, you can take your cream cheese or butter or whatever you're putting on it and easily spread it, right? But I haven't actually, like I said, used this to cut a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, so this one right now is going to be turned into basically a dedicated butter knife for spreading. So what I want to do is I want to take off metal, again, that will come all the way down to the bottom of that chip, okay? And then I want to kind of round the edge here a little bit so that, again, we have a spreading knife. And in the future, if I want to go ahead and sharpen it, it's going to be very easy to do on the system as well. All right, so this on the bottom here is your quick start guide. Go ahead and take a look at this. It's going to give you a good idea of what you're going to need. So when you click this down, it's 25-degree angles. When you click it up, it's 20-degree. All right, that's good. We're not actually, again, sharpening today. I'm just kind of using this, as a belt sander to just clean up our edge there and get rid of that horrible chip. All right, so here it just shows you again how to actually use that for sharpening. So I am going to save that piece. Put that off to the side here. See what else we got going on. Okay, so the box is empty. I am going to save the box. Let's see, we got a little welcome guide. All right, so we got some decals. It says one for your truck, one for your toolbox, and one for wherever you sharpen. Very cool, love that. Big fan of decals. They represent all the cool products that you like. All right, here is your warranty registration card if you want to register that. Put that off to the side. All right, here's our instruction book. This is nice too. So there's a QR code here. You can just watch a video, which I'll probably do as well in the future just to familiarize myself with it a little bit. Personal safety, power tool use and care, a little bit about the motor. We got some specs going on here. The anatomy of a knife, just in case you don't know. Okay, so this is important too, the belts. So green, red, and purple. Green, red, and purple. I guess that's the right one. So the green is a coarse grit belt for grinding and sharpening most tools. So green, we're gonna, yeah, that's definitely feels coarse. So we're gonna start with green because we just want to take off some metal. The red, medium grit for knife and scissor sharpening, and purple, fine grit belt for honing knives. So we're not going to get into purple today. That is unnecessary. It is super fine. You know, it's interesting, these belts, at least this purple one, feels like it stretches. It feels more like fabric. Pretty cool. All right, so, where was I? All right, so we got belts. All right, and there's obviously going to be a guide. It's going to show you how to use everything. So I'm going to look at this for just like 2 seconds off camera, and then we're going to go ahead and probably need an extension cord from where I am, and we're just going to get to business. So yeah, but this is very important. You know, obviously you get one of these, you're going to be using to sharpen your knives and stuff. Make sure you read through this entirely to really understand what's going on. Unlike a manual sharpening system, I mean, this obviously is plugging into the wall. There's a lot of stuff going on here. It's very important for safety to make sure you know exactly how this is working so you can use it safely. All right, so I'm back. I just took about, I don't know, 1 minute to just kind of peruse through real quick. The most important thing for me was to make sure I knew how to change out the belts, because that's the first thing you need to do is swap out to a green belt. So it could not be easier. All you're doing is pushing down on this. You can see the spring. So you push down and you twist. And by twisting, you're just keeping it in place so that it holds all the tension. So now our belt is loose. So you can take off this red belt. All right, we're gonna be putting on this green belt here. All right, so just slip that through the track on the bottom, the spot for it. And remember, this belt was not used yet, so it's not really, like this is, you know, it's been sitting in that position. So we have that kind of triangle position ready. So putting on a new belt for the first time might be a little bit tricky. Twist that, make sure this is fully seated. It seems even on both sides there, and it seems like we're good. Just kind of turn that, there we go. Manually turn it, make sure it's where it's supposed to be. I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, I'm gonna grab an extension cord, and which I should have done while the camera was off, realizing that now. Actually, let's see how long this cord is here. Just undoing the bread tie. Because this might actually, am I doing this the wrong way? Yes, I am. I'm making it tighter. Okay. There we go. We got that off. And there's another one. Jeez. Twist that. All right. Got the other one off as well. This is actually a long enough cord. I think I can let me put this around the camera. Yeah, I can actually plug this in right here. This is a much longer cord than the other system that I have. Plug this in. Okay, make sure we're nice and stable here. All right, do a little test rip here. Looks good. That switch changes the speed, so it's a lot faster. We're gonna stay on the low mode though. All right, so as far as actual sharpening, which again, I'm not doing right this second, but these guides on the side, you can see very clearly, okay, this piece right here, this is the one that goes up and down. Up is for 20 degrees and down is for 25 degrees. Now, again, as a guide, a lot of pocket knives are, you know, ground to 20 degrees. So this says pocket for pocket knives, 25, but you may be changing that. So you really have to kind of know, you know, the factory edge angle on your knife. You could look that stuff up if you don't know offhand. It's not a big deal. You can Google it. I'm sure you can find that easily. But anyway, yeah, so up You see it brings these guides in 20 degrees and down, brings it out just a touch to 25 degrees. So I'm gonna leave it out because I'm actually just using the top right now just to start here. All right, so what I wanna do, in my case, again, I'm not sharpening this, I'm just taking steel off. So I want to use the top end of this, and I'm just going to literally start at the bottom, work my way down as this is obviously grinding, and I'm using very light pressure. You cannot put metal back onto your knife, okay? I'm gonna say it again. You cannot put metal back onto your knife. It is always best to take just a little bit off at a time. You can keep taking metal off, but once you go too far, that's it. You can't put it back. So with very, very light pressure, okay, because it's a very coarse belt here, I'm just gonna rub just down the side. All right, do a pass, right? Do another little pass. Take a look at it. Do another little pass. I want to keep doing this until, again, this chip is gone. So I'm taking off metal until the entire edge is the same width from the back of the knife as the bottom of that chip, the little valley that's been created there. All right, so here we go. There's one little pass, and believe it or not, the chip's almost out. I mean, I can still see it, but, and obviously I'm just took off my sharp edge as well. So, same thing, another pass with very, very light pressure. Take a look at it. Again, barely an indentation there. So we're gonna go again, maybe one or two more passes. I'm also going to just, you know, round off the tip as well, so we have kind of a smooth transition. And then on the bottom here, I don't have to really do much. So here we go. And that, barely there. Let's try it again. That is almost done. All right, when I'm all done here, because I'm dulling this. There's obviously no sharp edge anymore. I can rub the whole edge, but I do want to kind of take off the shoulders just a little bit because I don't want to create, you know, an ice skate effect. All right, if you've never seen ice skates before, it's an extremely sharp blade because it's perfectly square. Do you know what I'm saying? So both those corners are what's actually sharp, and that's what grabs the ice and cuts into it. So I want to round this edge so it's not, in other words, the actual shoulder would not be sharp, so you can't actually cut yourself. Because I already have knives that I can cut myself with if I wanted to, but that's not the goal, okay, when I'm spreading butter on something. So, again, just touching this up a little bit more on the edge, making it a little bit flatter because I could still see the indentation there, and then we'll worry about rounding it. Well, as far as rounding it, I'm going to switch to a finer belt for that, okay, so I don't take off too much metal. Now, something worth noting as well is because we're using a sanding belt here and there's a lot more friction, there's more heat. People might be worried about, like, changing the temper on the blade or messing it up in that sense. Just do a couple passes and stop. I mean, I don't think it's necessary with this power to be able to, have to dunk it in water or anything like that to cool it off. But if you're worried about that, then go ahead and do that, but I'm not concerned. So this edge is now completely straight. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick look at that. There is no more chip on the entire edge. All right, it's just been flattened. So now what I want to do is I'm going to swap the belts. All right, I'm actually going to unplug this. Should probably do the same too, just in case, you're messing around, something gets bumped. You don't want this to accidentally turn on, obviously, and hurt you. So, down and twist. Could not be easier. And let's see, do I want to use the red belt? No, it's still too coarse. I'm gonna use the purple belt. Because again, I'm just kind of very finely rounding the edge here. All right, let's go ahead and get that in the track, which again, I think is a little tricky for the first time. There we go. Not too bad at all. Just slowly pushed in. All right, twist and up. Now this belt, the purple belt, is very pliable. Let's say it's very soft, and actually this looks like it's a little bit wider than the wheel. I'm gonna go ahead and plug this back in and give that a little rip to see if that's gonna be. Yeah, it seems like it kind of self-corrects as well as far as like centering or where it has to be. All right, pretty simple. All right, so now. This is still, it always goes clockwise. Trying to get an idea because I'd rather it drag past the blade than, like, in other words, I don't want to put an edge like this. You know what I'm saying? And this is all freehand work, by the way. This machine is not designed for you to just do freehand sharpening or anything. All right, it's very simple, very guided. All right, so you put your blade against the side of the guides and go down. You know, I mean, it's a very simple, straightforward thing. I'm just using it for something it's not really intended to use, but it's working out beautifully. So anyway, go ahead and just very lightly do this. I'm trying to think of my plan of attack here. What's the best to do it sideways? Because I don't think I want to do it like this. I definitely don't want to cut into this belt and ruin the belt. So I think I'm going to go sideways. I'm going to come across as if I'm sharpening it, but I'm going to do that a couple passes on different angles. Does that make sense? So I'm basically rounding it out. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. Now, I don't know if you saw there, but it kicked the blade out. I'm barely using any pressure here as well. Okay. Wow, that did exactly what I wanted it to. Wow, all right, yeah, this is super smooth now. I think we're done. Keep in mind too, as far as cleanup, you are removing metal, so there's metal dust all over the table here. So when I'm done, I gotta wipe it down really nice. Yeah, we're golden. So what I did was with the coarse belt, I basically just flattened the entire edge so that the chips were gone, and then I just obviously used this finer belt here to almost polish. It's not quite polishing, but it certainly smoothed everything out very nicely. Trying to feel the edge. It's just really nice. So now we basically have a really nice butter knife. It's just for spreading. That's its only purpose. And in the future, like I said, I might come back and just sharpen this up again if I find that I do want to cut stuff. Like when I'm doing something, if I'm spreading butter on a piece of wheat bread or something, or pumpernickel or whatever I'm eating lately, and I find like I do want to cut it and I have to grab another knife, I'll just sharpen this because that's its whole purpose. It's supposed to be a single purpose knife. Do you know what I'm saying? What I have found though, when it was sharp, is that I'll spread things, but sometimes because there's such a sharp edge, I'm going to spread a little butter or whatever, and I like literally cut into whatever I'm spreading. So having this as a dedicated spreading knife is what I was looking for now. But who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind in the future, and I can always sharpen it. Not a big deal. But let's go ahead and give you a close-up of this one more time before we go. Make sure that's focused. You can see that edge. It's nicely rounded all the way across. Again, with the purple belt, all I was doing is basically knocking off both shoulders here. All right, so there's no sharp transition there. And we are golden here, so yeah, awesome. Very cool. Again, not the purpose of this machine, but obviously you can see it is versatile. If you have a little bit of you know, experience with that kind of stuff. I wouldn't recommend, if you don't know what you're doing sharpening, that you do what I just showed you, just because you might damage something. But I can't stress enough that when I was, you know, dragging things across, I'm barely holding the knife. I'm not pushing down on anything. Okay, if I pushed down, it would have bound up, probably would have cut the belt. But yeah, this is just something else you could do. You could easily sharpen knives with this, and that's most of the work that I'm going to get done with this guy. But that is just, it is really cool. Very, very happy with this. Simple project. Now, if I wasn't talking, I could have done this whole thing in a matter of a minute, maybe 2 minutes. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to explain what I'm doing while I go. So yeah, that is, that's really cool. The fast speed is quite fast as well. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use this for actual sharpening of knives as opposed to dulling of knives. Kind of strange today that I did a video with a brand new sharpener and I didn't sharpen anything, I actually dulled something. But it's just to show that it is versatile as well if you get a little bit experience there. I've done this again on other machines. I've done this on regular, you know, belt sanders before, so I'm used to it. This is just a much smaller package, but super cool. So that's it. That's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. Shout out to Archer Bream for hooking me up. I believe this was originally for sale through Ed Mahoney Knives in Germany as well. But yeah, pretty cool. Very happy about that. So that's all for now. I will actually use this to sharpen knives in the future, and I'll let you guys know down the road what I think of it after I've done a bunch of work with it. But initial impressions, really cool. That fast speed is actually quite fast. So anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take it easy.